What's up? You're watching Poot's Garage. This week we got something a little different. Again, we are putting a new bumper on this Jeep. We're doing the rear bumper this time. So let's check it out. And before we start, just to let you know, the shop is being reorganized and cleaned up, so it's actually really messy right now. But we are working on a 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And what we're installing is in this box right here. This bumper is from Hooke Road. Now we'll do a quick unboxing, but I've already opened this, so it's kind of already been tore apart, just because I couldn't wait to check it out and see what we got. So, bam! All this foam stuff I already ripped out. And so, everything that we get in here is the bumper itself. We have an instruction manual, which actually comes with, oh, hold on, a sticker. Gotta love stickers. Then we have a bracket that's installed and a box of hardware. It's real simple. Plus, we have the bumper itself. Let's get you a closer look. Now, I do want to mention that the packaging for this bumper is a little inadequate. That foam is a little soft and they don't really protect the edges and the corners. So we did end up with a little ding on each corner there. Little ding corner over there. But other than that, everything looks pretty good. So if Hooke Road is watching this, I would spend a little bit more on packaging, maybe put some reinforced cardboard on the corners to really, keep it from that. Because these shipping guys are just tossing these things. This bumper weighs 66 pounds, so they're not handling it nicely. So this is what we got. This is the Hooke Road. They do have multiple different bumpers on their website. And if you guys are interested in picking one of these up or any other Hooke Road products, make sure you use my link and my discount code that'll be in the description of this video. But this bumper is actually really nice. I'm really impressed. So the whole thing is made out of 3/16 steel, which is way, way stronger than the factory plastic bumper. Includes LED floodlights there and there, which are actually pretty cool. It's got the D-ring mounts for 3/4 inch. These are welded all the way through. Has 2-inch receiver built into it, so we don't have the separate one now that the Jeep used to have. It is compatible with the backup sensors, which my Jeep does not have, so I don't need to use those. They just have rubber plugs in there. We'll keep those in. But other than that, that's it. It kind of has a black, almost wrinkle finish. It's pretty nice. It feels good. We'll see how it holds up. It's got a little blemish right there, but I really don't care about the finish, to be honest. I'm more excited to get rid of this plastic rear bumper, which is doing just about nothing. You can see I kind of chewed it up a little bit there off-road one day, kind of drug the back end off a rock. This thing's gonna offer a little bit more clearance on the corners, which is cool. And then obviously it's stronger, so I don't have to worry about hitting things as much. We'll be able to get rid of that factory receiver that's mounted just to the frame. And now we'll have a receiver that's mounted not only to the frame, but the outsides of the frame and the bumper, everything's gonna be tied in together, which will be super strong. And you might have noticed this bumper does not have a way to mount a license plate to it, so we're actually gonna have to relocate this license plate up to the spare tire. Boop. I got a kit for that. We'll worry about that later though. But I just want to get this thing on now. So it's super simple. It's got to be easy. I'm hoping this will be super quick. So let's get into it. I showed you it came with a box of hardware. I don't think I've actually opened this up yet to see what's in here. So this is a mounting bracket that kind of goes behind the main cross member across the rear. And for hardware, this is what we got. Ooh, nice. Okay, we got some nice big bolts. Super heavy duty. Lots of hardware. Everything we should need. Got some more hardware. Ooh, this is really nice stuff here. I like that. And this actually comes with the D-rings, which is really nice to actually include the D-rings too. And they include the plastic isolators for anti-rattling. So that's pretty cool. I do have a different D-ring I'm going to throw on this though. You'll see that at the end. So that's it for install. Super easy. And like I said, it comes with a sticker, which is not something you would expect from a bumper like this. So I'm kind of excited about that. Here's our instruction sheet. It's got the front with all the components that it comes with. It even tells you which tools you need. 19, 21 millimeter, 19 millimeter wrench. Yeah, super simple. And then there's the actual install instructions. Not much to it really. I'm excited. So the first thing we got to do to get this thing on is we got to take the old bumper off. So I will briefly show you how to do that. We'll get to the montage, we'll get that thing off, and then we can start putting this new one on. So looking underneath here, basically all we got to do to get this crappy little plastic bumper is we got to take off some little, I think those are probably 8 or 10 millimeter bolts here, and another one there, and I think there's another one hidden around here somewhere. There might be 4, but we pull those off. Get attacked by the cat, but we get those off, and then we can actually start taking off a couple bolts up here, and that'll pretty much disconnect the whole bumper. We don't have to worry about these big bolts over here yet. It's a separate bracket, I think, that we can pull off afterwards. But yeah, do the same on both sides. The other side, we're gonna disconnect the electrical because of the license plate light and whatever else you got running to the bumper. If you have sensors, obviously you gotta disconnect that too. And then we just gotta disconnect the 4 big bolts going through the cross member here for the hitch. We'll take those big bolts out there. And this bumper should come right off. It should be super light because it's plastic. There's not a whole lot of metal in it. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We got to take the spare tire off also. So, yeah, pretty simple. So, let's get to it. Guys are a 16 millimeter. So I'm just figuring this out as I go, but yeah, I was able to leave this bracket on here. Those 2 little screws were removed, so that actually worked out pretty good because now I have good clean access to these, which might just be welded nuts. I'm not sure yet. I'll put a socket on and see if they move. If not, then we got to do the bolts from the backside. Yep, those are welded, so we got to take the bolts off from the backside only. And these are an 18 millimeter. Gotta do it by hand, there's no room for power tools back here. And there we go. We got the bumper off. We got the receiver off. I probably took a couple extra bolts I didn't need to, but we are done. We're dirty. Should wear gloves. You can see our trailer wiring still stays in place. Factory has these threaded inserts already installed inside the frame, so we don't have to worry about messing with anything in there. So the install should be pretty straightforward. So let's get this thing on. All right, we got our mounting plate out of the packaging. I am going to add 4 more washers to this. I would recommend you do 2. But basically, I'm going to be putting washers under the bolt heads on this side, just because the holes are a little sloppy, and I don't want them like sinking in, digging into those holes. So I'm going to add a washer to this. Then I'll use the Hooke Road supplied fasteners, the washer and the lock washer under the nut. So that'll kind of help spread the load out and keep everything a little happier, I think. Basically, what we're going to do is this plate is actually going to go on the back side of the cross member. That'll go back there, and to hold it in place while we install everything, you basically just install the bolts and it kind of just hangs up in there. Obviously make sure it goes behind your wiring. That's not gonna work out too well. all four. And the next step is basically to lift this bumper and put it on there. You can carefully utilize those bolts to line it up and slide it and let it rest on them. It's not going to hold it up on its own. So this is where you could really use another person or something to hold it up there for you while you get the nuts going. But then once we're done there, then we're going to run a couple of the new bolts into the sides also. Well, here's an interesting little tidbit. I can't quite go all the way in because we are actually hitting the trailer wiring socket here. I don't know if this is a 2024 thing or what. So we're gonna have to drop this out of the way. I can cut and trim that metal if I want. Maybe I'll worry about that later, but for now, I'm just gonna move this out of the way. We'll figure out what to do with that later. At this point, our bolts are just all loose. I got both sides in. We got the 4 big ones down the middle. So all I need to do is just torque those all to spec, and then we're done. We can button up a couple little things for now, but this is pretty much over. So let's get these ran down and see how it looks. And we are done. We got everything buttoned up and cleaned up. So let's take a look. And this is it. Actually looks really good. I like this bumper a lot. It fits nice and tight to the body. Just enough gap there. You can adjust it a hair higher if you want, but I'm leaving it where it's at. I installed red D-rings. I already had those. I bought those previously. I have red on the front too, so it just matches. Didn't wire up the lights. I'm gonna do that later. I'm not worried about that. License plate is just zip tied on the spare tire for now, but yeah, it looks good. I like it. I did go through and I kind of touched up the paint on, you know, those little spots that were chipped in shipping, so it looks fine now. And I got the trailer wiring mounted back up. So I did have to notch out the metal here. I just cut it with a cut-off wheel. Made it fit up in there. See, I cut it right through here and straight up and then over, just so it fits. Everything works. That's what it looked like before. That's what it's like now. So no big deal, but it's just something you don't want to have to deal with if you don't have to. But I like it. It fits good. It's nice and tight. It's a little bit more compact width-wise. Our tire is now a little bit more exposed. We have better recovery points in the rear. You can put the stock hook back on the corner underneath if you want, but it's just not necessary. I will tell you the rear receiver actually sticks out about 1.5 inches out further, which is good if you actually tow, because it might actually allow it to clear the spare tire a little better. Factory one, there's some clearance issues when you're trying to get the ball retainer thing. It sometimes hits, so that might give you enough clearance to actually work better for that. But being 1.5 inches out, and I think it's actually 1 inch lower, according to my measurements, so you are losing some approach angle and different things like that. But it's just a receiver, so it's not going to hurt anything if you smack it on a rock or off-road, whatever. I don't care. It's not that big a deal. So I know we're crammed into this garage right now, so I want to take this thing out and we'll get some good outside shots of this and finish off this video.